Hey friends, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, my name is Jazz and I watch a shit ton of TV. And one of those shows that I'm watching, of course, is Love is Blind, season 9. I really wanted to talk about all of these couples because personally, I don't think I like anyone, but I had to get the right person to talk about this crap show with. And I had to bring one of my friends back. You guys just saw him a couple weeks ago. I wanted to talk to him about this. So, Clay, welcome back.
Jazz, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Of course, it was a pleasure. Even though the girlies they tried to eat me up a little bit last time for our conversation, but I was like, no, y'all, Clay is a good guy. Get off his back.
It's crazy. They eat you up just for me being in the video. It's like they don't even know me. That's like the craziest thing that I feel
It's
like
so
I've been
messed
realizing.
up. But I
It's so
got your
messed
back.
up.
I've been
I
telling them
appreciate
like,
it.
no, he's a good guy. You got to talk to him.
I always say, Jazz, like I said, I'm like that person that when you meet me one on one, you love me. But it's if
Yep.
I'm like in a loud room and I'm just talking, you might, I don't really like this guy.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, you don't have time or space to meet everybody who has
Yeah,
something against you one on one. So they just need to take my word for it. I'm a trustworthy person.
exactly.
So look, Clay, we got Love is Blind season 9. You had firsthand experience with the show because you were on it. For anybody watching for the first time, if you don't know who Clay is, he was on season 6 of Love is Blind and made it out of the pods, got engaged, ended up saying no on decision day, which is totally he was within his right to do. Okay. But you ended up saying no on decision day. Not decision day, that's married at first sight. You ended up saying no at the altar, right? And so that brings us here. We're a couple of seasons out and we have a whole new batch of couples.
Yep.
And I really need to get your thoughts. I think I know your thoughts on one of the couples, but I wanted to run down everybody, get your thoughts, give my thoughts, have a little conversation about that. How does that feel?
Yeah. That feels good. That feels good. You know
Cool.
me, I'm always going to give the unhinged and my own personal opinion.
Yeah, what do you call it? The opinion nobody asked
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
Exactly. So let's just get started. I want to start with a couple that they made it out of the pods, but just barely. And that couple is Patrick and Kacie. Patrick is the Asian guy who had seemingly a lot of hangups and insecurities around being Asian. And then Kacie was, Caucasian woman that he ended up matched with. Very awkward way that they were matched. And I cannot think of them without thinking about that scene when she was trying to basically seduce him when they were in the pods and she was like, I want to fuck you and I have a landing strip and I would take the landing strip off. He was just like, yeah, for sure. Cool.
I was like,
It
this
was
guy has no
awkward.
personality.
None at all. Like his personality is just like trying to be a white man from Colorado. What did you think of Patrick and Kacie?
I feel like he's very fear-based. Patrick is very fear-based. Like you could just tell he just has a lot of anxiety. I was thinking, I was like, dang, what is the white people in Denver doing to make the Asian community as a population ashamed to feel like they're Asian? I've
Yeah.
never seen it's two Asian. We got two Asian representation, and I really feel like they were ashamed to say
Yeah.
that they were Asian to date other Asians. I don't really get that, and that's a deeper thing. I don't know. I got a couple Asian friends up north, but I said, up north is a little bit different than other parts of the area. So I don't know. I don't know much Asians that have that identity complex, but I thought that was pretty interesting watching that, and I felt kind of sorry for Patrick and Anna. I mean, for the fact that they
Yeah.
weren't like, just braggadocious, like, yeah, I'm Asian, I'm here, like, and I don't know. I feel like Patrick kind of lacks a little bit of self-confidence, a little bit.
Mhm.
So I just thought it was easy for him, to fall for Anna. I props to him for keep going with the experiment.
Yeah.
Uh, I think what's her name? Kacie. What's her name?
Kacie. Yep. Kacie.
Kacie. Kacie, I didn't really think much of Kacie when the pause. Like, I honestly did not even care about their scene. I was really kind of paying attention to Patrick. 'Cause I'm like, this dude Patrick is doing anything to stay in this villa. 'Cause I'm like, you really don't like Kacie. You really don't like
Yeah.
her. But Kacie was all in. So I could probably imagine Kacie didn't have too many connections. She probably was dating Patrick for a while. But I didn't have much opinion on Kacie until they did the reveal and they saw each other. And I thought when they did the reveal, she was into him. And she's a
Mhm.
good actor. She's a good
Mhm.
actor. I will say that
Mhm.
because when they broke up and she said, "Hey, I want to do this," when she was in front of his face, I thought she was locked in with him. I thought she was gonna go see him in Denver. So she's a little fake, but it is what it is.
No, that scene when they were breaking up, I knew she was never going to see him again. She probably did feel bad because she
Yeah.
knew that she didn't like him based on attraction. And that's why that scene went the way it went. I think just to back up a little bit, I agree with you, Patrick and Anna. I felt really bad for them because I made a video about this on TikTok too. I think when you're around a certain group of people and they are the majority and you're the only one, like in their case, the only Asian person, it is really easy to want to assimilate to whatever culture is predominant, right? Their feelings are valid because they probably have always been the only one. And then when you are the only one of something, people make you feel really bad about that. So I can
Yeah.
understand the insecurities. However, at some point, though, you have to get to a point in your life where you're like, okay, that was wrong, but I'm ready to heal from whatever insecurities I had around them. Because I thought it was kind of messed up how Anna and Patrick were talking. They're like, we know if we met in person, like we would not be each other's type. And I'm like, how do you know that? You guys don't even know what each other looks like. So you're saying like you're not attracted to Asian people at all, like before
Yeah.
you even know what this person looks like. So that was messed up. But yeah, with Kacie, one of the things that people, because they're, they're hating on Kacie for sure, they are calling Kacie racist. And another thing that they're bringing up is that they're saying she forced him to tell her his ethnicity. And I'm like, the big part of that that's missing is he brought it up first. Like he was telling anybody who would listen that his parents were not from America, like they immigrated from somewhere else. Your curiosity is piqued if you hear that someone's an immigrant. So why would you not ask? I agree with the experiment, love should be blind, right? So if I tell you my race, that's not a part of being blind. But if you're telling everybody that will listen that your parents are immigrants and they ask your ethnicity, what do you think, Clay? Would you be curious? Would you ask where their parents were from?
You asking the wrong person because I was in day two. I was asking, "What the hell you look like?" You gotta ask. You gotta tell you. You asking the wrong person. I was asking like because I was keeping it straight up. If I don't think you're
Yeah.
gonna be attractive, it might not work. So I was
Yeah.
letting people know. But I'm gonna say this right: the fan base, they react off the show and they
Mm-hmm.
react very harshly off the show. But they have to understand that this is a very organized show. So when Patrick and Kacie, she probably disclosed that might have happened day 4, day 5, and they could have had a
Mm-hmm.
couple of days where they were literally like just learning about each other. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, Kacie and Patrick spent 10 days with each other in the pods. I'm sure she developed feelings for him. And I think that when she came out, she just wasn't attracted to him. It never gave to me that she was racist because when
Right.
she told him, when Patrick said that, he was Asian, I think she was cool with it. I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of made a little bit of a weird comment, but it didn't give that she wanted to pull out of there. And
Exactly.
I didn't get no racism. I kind of got that she's just bad at communicating. I got that she's maybe non-confrontational, so she didn't really want to break that bad news, like, "Hey, I'm not attracted to you," and that happens. The only thing I
Exactly.
thought that was crazy with Kacie is that how you gonna not want Patrick and then break up with him and then jump in his arms? I thought that was crazy.
That was so stupid. It was like she was attracted to aspects of him. Like she wanted to like crawl all over him and hang off of him. But I don't know. She's a weird case because yeah, I don't think her unattraction to him was because he was Asian. I think she heard Asian and thought he was gonna look like, I don't know, a K-pop star or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
he's not an ugly guy. As a woman looking at him, I'm like, okay, he's not ugly to me, but everybody's unattractive to somebody, so
Yeah.
she's not wrong for not wanting that.
I
Oh,
just want to say that people getting broken up with in a hotel, that actually happens every single season. Every single season, there is probably some couples that get engaged and then they get nuked, whether their partner sees them and they're not physically attracted to them. Like in my season, there was a girl who was locked in with her dude from day 3. She broke up with everybody very early. I'm talking probably 2 to 3 days of us dating. She knew who our partner was. She saw him and she's completely broke up with him at the hotel. So that happens all the time. I got friends in season 4 who that happened to. I got some friends in season 5, season 7. It happened in season 7. So that happens every single season.
wow. So why do you think they don't show us all? Because I feel like if you're making a reality show, you're trying to maximize the drama. Viewers would love to see the other couples who didn't make it or saw each other and weren't attracted and broke up in the hotel. Why do you think they don't show us those? And then they showed us Patrick and Kacie.
I mean, only thing I can imagine is that it's so many people. It's 15 women, it's 15 men on the side, so it's like showing every single body. it probably kind of dilutes the story. You know, you want to focus on the 5 couples that actually get engaged.
True.
But in like season 7 perspective, like Leo and Brittany, I feel
Mhm.
like they were interesting and we would have liked to follow their story other over some of the couples that they actually did choose. So I feel like that's maybe some feedback for Love is Blind. Like maybe you should show us some of those conversations and relationships of people who don't even make it, because that could be a separate storyline in itself.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And Netflix, you should do that. We want to see a little bit more about like why some of these couples didn't work. Because you're right, every year we see a list of couples that made it. There were couples that were actually successful that we still didn't see in
Yeah,
some seasons. So I wonder what the decision making is about that. But that's a
yeah.
great point. So let's move on to some couples who actually did make it out of the hotel. And the couple that did that the fastest was Anton and Ali. I think they got engaged like episode 1. They were a little annoying to me. I'm not gonna actually everybody this season is annoying. What do you think about Anton and Ali?
So like Anton and Ally, why they got engaged after episode 1, they did the full 10 days like everybody else, but I'm sure that they probably were locked in very early, kind of similar to the story I just talked to you about. They
Hmm.
probably locked in like day 3 and they probably cut everybody off. So it probably wasn't any drama, wasn't love triangle. So it's really not no story. And people don't want to, it'll be so boring to kind of just watch them fall in love in the pods and just no build up to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they got them out of here. But I don't have no really opinion on Anton. I feel he does everything. He's cool.
Hmm.
I don't see much personality. I kind of don't care. I don't really care. I don't know. Like they're like
Yeah.
I'll watch them and it's just like okay, they're cool. Now I did watch the recent episodes when they met their friends, and I'm curious. Is that what women do? You find a friend of your fiance and
Hmm.
he has a new girlfriend. Are you telling that friend what your fiance friend does behind closed doors? Like I thought that was a little betrayal.
You know what? It's interesting because there is a such thing as a girl code, right? In my case, my fiance, like you just mentioned, the example you gave, my fiance, he has a friend that we're cool with. So we're all cool with that friend. He brings a new girl around. Is it my place to tell her all the dirt on him? I don't know how deep it needs to go, right? Because for me, if he's a bad guy, we're not kicking it with him anyway, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
a bad guy like hanging out with my man. So
yeah,
I don't know personally if he was like so bad, maybe I'll be like, you know what? Actually, I don't know because I don't even want to lie and say that I would give her a warning because
yeah,
I do think it's interesting when couples are new. You have to. There's a really fine line to toe, right? If this is a girl who is really locked in with this guy, let's say I give her a warning and she doesn't leave, but then she tells him that I warned her. Now it's awkward between us.
yep,
And we're the ones with the prior relationship with them. So I honestly don't know.
yeah,
I don't know how I'll react in that situation. I think what the woman told Allie, she's only been with her guy for 4 months. Allie doesn't know Anton's friend. I think she was within her right to tell her what she told her because none of them have like long-standing relationships at all. So I feel like she was okay, but I honestly I don't know what I would do if put in that situation if it was a good guy friend of mine and his new girlfriend. I don't know.
yeah. I just feel like for the first time when you're meeting somebody, I just feel like you just don't know what that relationship is. Build a friendship. Sometimes I think for women, I get the whole girls code, but y'all just give information to somebody who you don't know. And
Mhm.
to me, the girls code thing it's good. I love it. Honestly, morally, it means so well. But you're literally taking out human nature. The fact that there are women who don't really care about you, that has their own type of thing that they want to do. Just giving out that information to me was just a little kind of weird. And even their relationship, I think the dude said that they went on one date and then he moved in with her and they only been dating for 4 months. So their relationship already is like a little iffy. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, you just met this girl, you gonna go ahead and say, oh yeah, he parties a lot, he does this. I'm like, okay, she's a hater. Another
Yeah.
thing that I just made a video about this too, Jazz. I was talking about the whole Alley situation and talking about sponsoring Botox. I got a budget in the Botox, and I had to go look up how much Botox costs. It's like $700-800. I'm so glad I'm black. I'm melanated. I just wake up and the sun kisses my skin. I never ever even attempted to look up Botox for me. There's no way I'm budgeting Botox for you, baby girl. Just get some creamers, get some
Mhm.
good lotion. We need to do something where we can get away from Botox because I don't want to keep up with that.
See, I think there's a misconception with that conversation, right? She
Sure.
was asking him, like, do you think you make enough to support the both of us and I can still get Botox? But then she made the point to say, like, she would want separate accounts so that she could be able to get Botox on her own and that not affect the family's money. To
Yeah.
me, the implication there was that she would use her own money for Botox, right? But she wants him to take care of the stuff in the house. Now, I'll say
Yeah, I'm
this.
not mad at that.
Yeah, right, exactly. And this was actually a conversation that I saw on Reddit where some people were calling Ally a gold digger for wanting a man to provide for her. And I always say take me out of the group chat when it comes to that
Yeah.
conversation, because I'm very much traditional in that sense. Like my
Yeah.
father did that with my mom, my fiance does that with me, right? I don't see anything wrong with that. I
Yeah.
didn't see anything wrong with the conversation. I didn't see anything wrong with Ally having that expectation. Ally is a baddie. And I
Yeah,
feel
she
like for
is.
women, yeah, women who look like that, that is
She
the
can get that.
expectation of men
Yeah.
because that's how men treat them,
And
right?
she's literally a nurse, so I
Mm-hmm.
never got gold digger from her. Now, Jazz, I get what you're saying. Me naturally, I feel like I'm a provider, but I'm a realistic provider. I'm not a
Sure.
traditional provider. I'm a more modern provider.
Okay.
I have my own house. I wouldn't ask somebody to pay for the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta be real with everything that we got going on too. You know, the economy is not the same. Our parents lived in the easiest economies. I think it's more difficult to be a provider. And then when I asked, I said, okay, we got to take this conversation in a nuance, right? Because women now are participating in the workforce and they
Sure.
actually contributing in a large scale. There are so
Mm-hmm.
many women that are getting executive roles, especially Black women. So I just feel like the conversation needs to be a little bit of a nuance. What are we doing this for? Is it for you or is it for
Mm-hmm.
our dynamic of our family? And
Mm-hmm.
to me, if the dynamic of the family is not at the forefront, then I think it's a selfish conversation.
Sure. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand that. And it's a layered conversation. Like you said, there's a lot of nuance, right? Like, I think every couple, it's a couple by couple basis. Like, what you might do in your relationship might not work for the next relationship. I don't think there's a catch all. You know what I mean? I think with Ally, I'm just like, oh, I understand why you would want that, right? I
Yeah.
understand that is the desire. And even Anton is like, yeah, I can take care of both of us within reason, kind of like what you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I can provide Botox, probably not, right? Like, I
Yeah.
can't take care of the house and all of that stuff and take care of Botox. And so that's why I wanted to introduce Allie's layer of her. The implication was that she probably would take care of her own like extracurricular stuff. Now, we don't know that for sure. I always say this with reality TV. We don't know any of you guys past what we see, very
Yeah.
heavily edited, right? There's a story to be told from production. So for all we know, that conversation could have been spliced together just to get them to say that. We don't
Yeah,
know,
you're right. You're
you
right.
know? So,
But it
all in
sparks
all,
beautiful conversations like this, you know?
exactly, exactly. But all in all, with Anton and Ally, do I think they have a shot based on the episodes that we saw? I think if we would have left off with just the first 6 episodes, I would have said, yeah, they have a chance. But I think after we saw
Yeah.
episodes 7, 8, 9, I think there's some cracks that are showing. And I think that they kind of need to get past maybe like a superficial thing. I think they were both very physically attracted to each other. They had a lot of chemistry within the pods, but I think now that they're in the real world together, I don't know that that connection is still as strong. So I don't know if they'll last. What do you think about them? You think they're gonna take it all the way?
Man, that's a tough one. Based off the previews, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Because I was looking at the previews and I don't think I've seen Allie or Anton dressed up. I've seen Edmond and I've seen like
Yeah.
Madison and Joe. And I think I
Mm-hmm.
seen Nick. I didn't see in the previews Anton and Allie, which is interesting because they were the first one to get from what we got shown to get engaged. But I do think that with her questioning a lot of stuff and like now it's in the back of the head because one bad move at Love is Blind, it's a 5-week process and that's to get married. So if
Yeah.
one little hiccup is there, like that could really make your brain spiral. So I think that that's enough for her to say, I don't know if our lifestyles match up. She'll probably hit them with the, hey, let's keep dating. And they probably will never date.
That would not shock me at all. All right. So let's move on. Sparkle Megan, who's not that sparkly at all, and Jordan. What are your thoughts on Sparkle Megan and Jordan? First, like initial thoughts when they decided to get engaged.
My favorite couple. My favorite
Um,
couple. I think Meg did the biggest. She has the most iconic big dick energy moment in Love is Blind history. That chick got the camera crew to go to a $1.3 million house opening. I said, oh man. She had the whole camera crew in there. This is what I want. I'm like, oh, hey, now we watching. Now
yeah.
it's like where she? That's an HGV. What's it called? HGVCV. Whatever.
HGTV.
They need to plug her in. I want to see now this journey of this $1.3 million house. So that's a good plug-in. But I actually, Meg, I'm not gonna lie, I like Meg. I think that she reminds me a lot of white women that I work with that to me
Mhm.
have good energy and they just about their stuff. I don't know. I didn't. I mean, I don't know who calls her Sparkle Meg, but I don't really trip about nicknames like that. I'm not gonna
Sure.
call. I'm never calling you Sparkle Meg. So, but to me, it's good because as soon as you say Sparkle Meg, I know who you're talking about.
Yep,
So
it's very
it's just
good
an
branding.
indicator.
Yeah.
I feel like Jordan hit the biggest lick in Love Is Blind history. If you could get Megan, who's going to buy a $1.3 million house and use a single dad living in that damn apartment, and now you can move into a mansion, golly.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? Jordan's prayer.
Oh
Jordan's
my
prayer.
God. He definitely hit a lick. He definitely hit a lick because at first with Megan, like she was bothering me because she kept saying she doesn't want a man to use her for money or men are intimidated when they find out that she makes a lot of money. But she led every conversation with that. So I'm just like, what is it, Uchiwali or one mic? Do you
Yeah.
want people to not judge you or do you want them to just know it right off the bat? But I think with her and Jordan, she started to give me a little I started to give her a little bit of a side eye as it pertains to Jordan's son Luca, because in the pod she kept saying I'm going to be Luca's mom, and that might not have jumped out to you, but to me as a woman I'm putting myself in Luca's
Yeah.
mom's shoes, and I'm like, I would never want someone thinking you're coming in to be his mom. You will be his stepmom if you marry his dad, but you're not going to be his mom. So it was weird to me that she kept
Yeah.
saying that, and then now that they're out of the pods, she's weirdly bringing the son up a lot and then like crying over it. In one episode she was like, I love him already, and I'm like, you have not met the kid. Like by the time we're seeing this, you haven't met the kid, so it
Yeah.
feels disingenuous to me. I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that?
I will say this, Jazz, because I think her dad passed away due
Yes.
to type 1 diabetes. And I think that Lucas, I think is the son's name or something like
Yeah,
that.
he
I think
has
he
it.
has. So I think it's probably like some type of, and I think when in episode 7, they met their parents, and I think her sister said that their dad talked to her in her dreams that, oh, like Lucas is just like me. So I think that it could be some type of I don't know what that terminology is, but like when you're
Mhm.
grieving and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and now you're finding, oh my, there was a sign, it's a sign from my dad.
a
And I think she's
connection.
like diving
Mhm.
into it. So I think it's a little bit of that. But I mean, I feel like Meg and Jordan to me are the most realistic, not realistic couple, because Meg is balling again, $1.3 million mansion. But I'm talking about how they regulate their emotions. Like
Sure.
even when Jordan was pissing her off in the villa, and I just feel like the way how they kind of got over it, I thought that was the most realistic. Yo, you're acting a little drunk. Can you stop? But I'm not gonna make this a loud announcement, but can you please stop rather than what Madison and Joe did?
Yeah, and I think to your point too, they are just getting to know each other. So like we're kind of watching them learn each other in real time as with respect to the show. But yeah, I guess if there was a couple that I can choose that I think might say yes, this is the couple.
Yeah.
I
And
I
she drank raw chicken
Dude,
smoothie for him. That's
that was
love.
disgusting. That was the most like, and I don't even like saying shit like this. That was the most white people shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, what do you mean you're blending baked chicken, water, and Crystal Light packets
And
and
she
drinking
sipped and
it?
said the texture. Yeah, it's chicken.
Yeah, disgusting. Yeah, that was gross. But I think with Jordan, my fear for him is that Meg is such a high earner. He has made a couple of comments about, I think in the episode when they were in the house, he was saying like no blue collar man wants to like not be able to provide or contribute to the house, right? And so
Yeah.
my fear with them is the fact that like he's kind of okay with the life that he's living. She
Yeah.
seems like a person that wants more and more and more, which like neither of those things are wrong. But it's
Yeah.
like, do they match long term? Is that going to be a problem for them down the line when she is like, where's your ambition? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been at this same job for 10 years. Don't you want to do something more? Don't you want to make more money? What type of rift is that going to cause years down the line?
I can see that causing a rift. There's a couple executives that I used to work with, women executives. I feel like their husbands were never on the same level as them. So I do think that dynamic could work the same way, vice versa for a man. Sometimes, like you got
Mhm.
a high executive dude, but his wife is a stay-at-home wife, and she holds it down, or maybe she does his books. So I don't. Sometimes I feel like that dynamic works. I know that typically when I date, I would like to find someone that like has a lot going on for themselves, but it seems like there's one that kind of handles the majority of the bills, and there's one that might handle the back end stuff. So I
Right.
think it could work, but who knows? Who knows? They just met each other, so we all just guessing and speculating.
Yeah, very interesting couple to watch. I'm excited to see what decision they make when they are at the altar. But let's move on to one of the more controversial couples of the season, and that is Joe and Madison. They had a very interesting reveal. I would say some could say that it reminded them of your reveal where it felt a little awkward. He saw
Yeah.
Madison, he didn't immediately comment about her looks or call her beautiful or anything. The discourse when you had your reveal, they said that you kind of did the same thing. So, two questions for you. Was that the case with your reveal? And then two, did you find Joe and Madison's reveal confusing?
So, that's a good question, and I watched it back. I just feel like I'm awkward meeting people naturally. So I always was attracted to AD. Like I really feel like that is like the worst rumor
Narrative.
that
Mhm.
narrative. Oh, he wasn't attracted to AD. Like I was. That was our best attribute. I would say the
Mhm.
physical. I thought AD's attractive. Every time I see AD, I'm like she's attractive. There's never a point where I was like. I'm not attracted to AD, I think it's awkward when you are putting the face to somebody. I do think it's a little bit weird. Like who I envisioned AD to be, it wasn't what came out. So that kind of you have to now I'm adjusting to, whoa, I'm in a hotel, I'm thinking about who this person is. And so you're not anything like this. So it's like you're just talking to them for 15 minutes. So it's a very shocking moment. And I probably could have handled it better, but that I'm awkward. So I feel like a lot of times my awkward tendencies, like me blinking a lot, like people now, oh, look at him, he's doing that. And they just like now pointing out everything, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. Like I don't think AD ever felt that I wasn't attracted to her.
Right. Why would she? She looks
Yeah.
great. She's a yeah,
She's a,
beautiful.
she's she's amazing. And then
Mhm.
even with the whole the body conversation, like I just had to answer Clay, why would you say body at the altar? And I'm just like, yo,
'Cause
like that
that's
was
what
our
she was
banter.
given.
That's what she was giving, and that was our banter. Like we used to always be cutting up. Like me and AD always cut it up. So at the altar is no joke. It's the same thing. But anyway, do I think Madison and Joe? Did you ask? Was it given the same thing, or was he attracted to her? I forgot what the second
Like,
piece
did you
was.
did you find their reveal confusing?
Oh, I thought it was funny. I thought
Okay.
the reveal was funny. I actually get a kick out of Joe every time he's on the camera. I like the fact that he keeps it real. He's giving a real interaction. He's saying, "Whoa, I don't even hear the voice anymore," because he's looking
Mhm.
at the face. I get him because it's not even that Madison is unattractive. It's like you could be talking to someone and literally be think. I know it's Love Is Blind, and people will just have this concept. Oh, you sight unseen, that's sight unseen, sight unseen. Yo, okay, we understand the concept, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to think about what they look like.
Right.
You have no TVs, no phones, no nothing. So when you're in that hotel room, all the only thing you're thinking about is your relationship. So I am
Mhm.
going to spend some time thinking about my future fiance. It is what it is. I might put a stick figure face to it, everything. You know what I'm saying? When we was in the pods, the girls were drawing pictures of what they thought every guy looked like. So
Mhm.
everybody is trying to envision what they look like. So now, I think Joe is attracted to Madison? Eh,
Tell me
prob-
why you think that.
and that's okay. That's
Okay.
okay. I don't think you need in this process of Love Is Blind when people are like, oh, he's not attracted to them. That's the point, to fall in love with people that's untraditional.
Right.
So if that's the case for Madison and Joe, I don't see no problem with it because that is the case. I think we hear it all the time from the women. I think Megan said that last time. She said Jordan's not a guy she's traditionally going to talk to. She's going to talk to a guy like Mike. So
Mhm.
she leaned into it. But for some reason, I guess when women deliver it, it's way better than when men do it. Because men, we're gonna be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? We're gonna be awkward with the face with it. But
Right.
it's the same situation. And everything I see, Joe is still trying. Madison said they're having fire sex. How can you fake
Yeah.
that? How can you
Right.
fake that?
Well,
Fire though,
I
Jazz.
mean,
Fire.
the it's said that men can have sex with anyone, right? So that I don't know that that's an indicator. I
Yeah.
don't want to just say men, people, right?
Passionate. She said so
Yeah,
passionate
right.
and
Okay,
fiery. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Passionate and fiery. I mean, I get
gotcha.
it. He gotta see something that he, but I can't have fiery and passionate sex with somebody that I'm not attracted to at all. I
Yeah,
like I get it as a man. Yes, we can have sex with somebody that we're probably not all the way attracted to. We could probably key in on some type of feature. But the
mhm.
way how she describing it, she said passionate and fiery. So that means that he's kissing her with it. I'm assuming. I'm just listening what she said.
She's a
I
little
do.
dramatic, right? Like she. Oh, go ahead. Were you about to say something?
Not quite. She is.
No, she's a little dramatic. So her saying they're having passion and fiery sex, we don't know if it's all that what she's
You think
saying.
she's exaggerating?
Oh my gosh, listen. But here's the thing, it's a protective mechanism. So if you are in a group of your girls and they ask you about your sex life with your man, you're not gonna be like, oh no, it's kind of whack. You're gonna say, you know, if you're gonna talk about it, period, you don't want to like act like you're getting bad sex from your man, especially in an experiment like this. Like everybody's wanting this to be like their fairy tale ending. So yeah, she might be
Yeah.
putting a little, put a
Yeah, a
little
little
take
sauce
on it.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually funny. And I think she's unsufferable, honestly. Very
Extremely
insecure.
acceptable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like blows up, doesn't hear anything. I'm like, girl, like the dude was sleeping, he was drunk, he asked to get away.
Yeah.
I get it, but I get her feeling weird about it because this is the first time you're interacting with him and you're dealing with
Sure.
somebody. So the romantic getaway, a lot of things can be taken a different way. But I just feel like the way she reacts to stuff, the crying, I'm crying loud so you can hear me. Then I'm asking you why
Yeah.
you not coming. Like you're emotionally manipulating me at this point.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah,
very passive aggressive. I don't like people like that. I
yeah,
I have been guilty of that in the past. And hopefully when she watches this, she'll reflect and be like, that's not the way to get what you want out of
yeah,
anybody, let alone your partner that you just met, a couple days ago, right? Like that's just
yeah,
not the way to do things. I think just backing up to their reveal, right, with Joe and Madison. I can't tell if he's attracted to her or not. I will say as a viewer when I'm watching, if the girl comes out and the guy doesn't immediately like comment on her appearance, I do take that into consideration. Oh, he didn't immediately call her beautiful. But I think you made a good point. It's an awkward situation. You've been
yeah,
talking to this person, you've never seen them. Now you're seeing them for the first time. You might think they're beautiful, but like you don't know what else to say in that moment. And so,
yeah,
I'll give him credit there. I think what women, this is a PSA to all women, listen to me closely. Stop asking men if you are their usual type. Do not ask that because if you're not prepared for him to say no, then what? Right? Like you
yeah,
ask a guy, am I your typical type? And he says, no, you're not my typical type. You're automatically going to assume that he's not attracted to you when that couldn't be further from the truth. If
yeah,
you're attractive, I'm attracted to you. But if you're going to ask me what my type is, if
yeah,
you're not it and I say no, you cannot take offense to that. And I think a lot of women who watch the show are very sensitive to the reveals because they internalize a lot of that shit, right? So if
yeah,
he's not attracted to her, if she has any characteristic that I might also share with her, he wouldn't be attracted to me, which I think is
yeah.
weird because it's not like you're trying to date him, so it doesn't really matter. But I think women really have to stop asking men if they are their typical type because you are not prepared for it if he says no.
That's a good point right there, especially the point where it's at the end of the day, like we're not saying no, you're not getting rejected. The fans got to stop putting themselves like they are Madison, like they are the women in the show because it's like we're not dating you, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't see everything that's going on. So stop internalizing these insecurities and projecting them. And like I said, if Joe's not attracted to Madison initially, I don't really think that's a big deal because the concept of the show is love is blind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So can you fall in love with someone sight unseen? Can you fall in love with them based off their personality, based off of what you did in the pods? That's the concept. So
Yeah, watching them in subsequent episodes, it honestly seems like Joe is trying. That
yeah,
one scene where she takes off her ring when they're arguing, he's like, dude, I'm trying to just tell you how I feel about something, and you're shutting me down. You're being hella dramatic about it. And he's fine. I just won't open up to you anymore. Like that to me, that's a guy who was at least trying. So even if to your point, the initial attraction wasn't there, he wasn't repulsed by her, right? Like he found probably something about her that he was attracted to, and he does seem like he's trying to make it work. They're a really interesting couple to me because I think she's going to be the reason why they don't, right? Like she,
yeah,
in her mind, I think has some complex about maybe he isn't really all the way into her, or even though she told the girls like their physical attraction is 100%, a girl that knows that her man is physically attracted to her, she doesn't act like that. Like she's not over the top and insecure in that way. But yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna say both of them have some issues. He definitely gets very sauced up and starts acting crazy, but she is like that sober, and that to me is annoying as hell.
They are one of the more entertaining couples, so I would say they kind of remind me a little bit of Chelsea and Jimmy from our season.
Literally, that's what I was about to
Yeah,
say. I was about to say they
yeah,
give me Chelsea and Jimmy
yeah,
energy very
yeah.
badly. Yeah. So we'll see. What do you think? You think they're gonna say yes at the altar, or
No, I don't. It looked like from what I saw in the preview that they go, I guess they're getting ready to get married and Joe doesn't show up to the altar. So I don't know. It looked crazy. It was like,
whoa?
where's Joe? Where's Joe? And I'm like, oh, so I can't wait to watch next week episodes. And they left me on a cliffhanger. That was a good cliffhanger right there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Because also with editing, they might just be trying to like get us to
Yeah.
or something. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I agree with you though. I don't think they're gonna say yes at the
Yeah.
altar. They might be one of those couples though, like you mentioned. They might just try to date. And to be honest, I think they would actually try to date after the show. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it would be like let's date, let's say no and then date and never see each other again. I think they would actually try it.
But if they're not locked in right now, it's over. Because Joe,
Yeah.
I already see the women, they loving Joe right now.
Oh,
They're saying, "Oh my God, Joe's a villain, but he's so funny." So he's getting a little bit of pass, kind of like Jimmy, like where Jimmy was
mm.
the villain in the first, but then Chelsea kept on, turning up, acting out, and then people started, well, I actually like Jimmy.
Yeah, I definitely see
Right.
people are starting to turn on
Yeah,
Madison in Joe's favor. So it might work out for him whether they say yes or not. I'm sure he's going to be okay.
yeah.
So, Nick and Annie, now another very controversial couple. People are saying that Nick might not be all the way straight. I am so torn by that because I think that is so wrong to just put labels on people when we don't know anything about them outside of this edited show. But I mean, if his mom even thought that, like,
That's what I'm
what are
saying.
your
It's
thoughts
like,
on them?
as a man that got accused of being gay from people from the fans,
Oh
I
gosh, they
definitely.
they tore you up. My
They tore
goodness.
me up. They was on me crazy. I don't even. I'm like, damn, what do I give that's gay? But it is what it is. But but Nick, very tough to dissect Nick because I don't want to put that on his conscience. Well, it definitely seemed a little sweet, but I'm gonna just think that maybe his mom had a big effect on him. Maybe he grew up around a lot of women. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just don't know. But one thing I would say though, at least looks like Nick is definitely doing well in life. I saw his house. It looks
Hmm.
like he's taking care of stuff. He's about his priorities. He has family. His family seems like they love him. So I think that's, even if he is down low, at the end of the day, man, at least he's a good human being. He's handling his business. I don't know, what I'm saying? Because I just don't like putting that label on men, because
Sure.
I don't know nothing about him. All I hear is him talking,
Hmm.
and it definitely sounds a little sweet, but then I don't know. I don't know. That every guy that sounds sweet, is he automatically gay? I don't know.
Sure, because it's then the question becomes, what does sounding sweet even mean, right? And,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
very clear, here, nothing wrong with being gay. If he was gay,
yeah,
that we're not saying that's the problem. The problem is that he's on a show for heterosexual couples, if that's the case.
yeah,
But I don't know. That's why I think like we shouldn't do that. If we see
yeah,
him and he has characteristics that like we don't deem the characteristics of a straight man, I don't
yeah,
think it's up to us to say that. But
yeah,
there are just some other instances where if you're going to tell the story that your mom thought you were, that kind of opens the floodgates for other people to speculate. And then, he and Annie had that conversation in the pods about having a child who was LGBTQ. And that was kind of where a lot of the hate for both of them came in, because they were saying that they don't want their child to be LGBTQ. He asked Annie if she thought it was a fad. She said yes. My hot take with that is, I have one of my best friends is a gay man. I have close friends that are gay, lesbian, run the gamut of the LGBTQ community, right?
yeah,
I have heard gay men say they wouldn't want a gay son. So I don't think them saying that they don't want their child to be a member of an oppressed community, I don't necessarily know that that's the wrong thing for them to feel, because so many people, if you talk to them outside of the echo chamber that is social media, a lot of people have said that. Like,
yeah.
even like I said, even gay people have said they don't want their child to be a part of the community because of the things that they had to go through while being a part of it. So I don't know that it's so wrong. Like we shouldn't be so hateful to them for expressing opinions that people who are in the community have also expressed. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just probably like one of them conversations that I just don't think the world is ready to have at this
Hmm.
point. It's just very sensitive, and I don't know, like I didn't see too much craziness about it. It's like when a white person says, "I don't want to date black people," it's okay. Who
Yeah, it is
cares?
what it
Like,
is. Yeah.
it's what it is. Like, you won't have a gay kid. Okay, who cares? I just feel like people just get so riled up, and I just don't know why people put their energy to stuff that doesn't affect them at all, you know?
Yeah.
So, and honestly, that's how my thoughts are with Nick and Anna. I just don't care. They come up. I really hate Anna's wig or hair. But
Oh, Annie.
Annie, sorry. I
But
really do not like Annie's hair at all. And I think she's like a hairstylist.
oh my
Um,
God.
but other than that,
Yeah.
that's my only opinion. I think, hey, Nick, beautiful house, man. Good.
Hmm.
Keep doing your thing, brother. I'm rooting on for you guys. Did I think him and his conversation with Kate was bad? No.
Right.
I don't care. I did not care. Nick is just Nick. I don't know. I just don't care.
He's there to be famous. Like he is there to be a reality TV star. His conversation with Kate, how he switched up on her so quickly, like I could tell right away. I'm like, okay, this dude is coming on because he wants to be the star of the season. It was very obvious to me, and I think it's
Yeah,
obvious to the rest of the cast, as
yeah,
evidenced by what Joe was saying about him at the end of the episode when they were at the bar. He was drunk, but he was like, I don't fuck with Nick. Like he's not
yeah.
here for the right reasons. I feel like a blind person could see that. Like he's just there to be on TV. So with Annie, he's wanting to try this because he's trying to prolong his screen time. Like I don't think there's any staying power with the two of them. And I think Annie can feel the insincerity. And that's why
Uh-huh.
she is so fucking annoying with him. She's
Yeah,
so hot and cold. Like she can feel that something is wrong, but because she doesn't have any absolute proof, she cannot point it out. Like she can't put her finger on it, but she can feel that this shit ain't real. So it's making her
yeah,
go crazy. That's what I
yeah.
think about them.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. Because everything Nick says is kind of sounds rehearsed.
Yeah,
Definitely.
ChatGPT is his best
Chat
friend.
GPT. I honestly, I kind of doze off when Nick talks, so I'm probably not the best to give commentary on Nick and Annie because I really do not listen to their conversations.
Well, listen, we're gonna say this. We'll close them out. I do not see them saying yes at the altar to each other. And also, Annie, I hate commenting on women's physical appearances though, because it's already hard to be a woman on
It
TV.
is. It is
But that's terrible marketing for your salon, baby girl.
very terrible.
Then we're moving into the last couple this season. That is Edmond and KB. I already saw some of your TikTok videos about him. You saw one of mine. Let's just dig in. What the fuck is going on?
Well, there's two parts to this conversation.
Okay.
There's Netflix and then the fan base. Now, Edmund, I do want to address Edmund. I think that Edmund is a little quirky.
Hmm.
I don't think he's KB's type, but I just don't understand why Netflix is what they do with the casting and all this other stuff. Because it's like, how is he the black man that represents Denver? You know, because this is a representation of Denver.
Sure.
Like all when I'm thinking about, I'm like, oh wait, where's Love Is Blind? Oh, Denver. That's how the black dudes in Denver are like. In respect to Edmund, because he's just being himself, and I got
Mhm.
no problem with people being themselves. You know, I think I don't want to put anything on him. People saying, oh, he got, the isms and all that stuff. I don't know nothing about him. He's in
Right.
real estate. I saw a couple of his videos. He closed some deals. So good for him. And KB, shout out to KB, because I feel like she's trying. I don't get no indication that she's running. She look like she's trying her best.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna let you talk about this a little bit because I want to hear your thoughts, but I do want to address Netflix side because it's like, why are y'all casting Edmund? And then the fan
Mm.
base, the bullying of Edmund now. But I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let you go
Okay.
because there's so
Okay.
much to talk about with Edmund and KV. It's so much.
Yeah, it's so interesting because here's the thing, to your point about why is Netflix casting someone like him, right? I think if this is reality TV, everybody needs to be represented within reality TV, right? Like
That's a good
all
point.
different types of personalities, all types of people. And I think the question that I have with Edmund, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit here.
Yeah.
why could he not be the representation of Black men in Denver? Is it because he's quirky and because he's very sensitive, he's very vulnerable, right? Is this an instance of us as Black people and you as a Black man kind of having an idea of masculinity for Black men, and then because Edmond doesn't fit that, is that why you feel?
I feel for me it's a little bit, I'm jaded a little bit,
Okay.
and I'm honest with my jadedness just off of my portrayal of Love Is Blind. I feel like I'm a highly intelligent. I could speak with everybody, and I feel like the parts that they displayed of me were parts that I just felt like was a little bit unnecessary conversations that they forced us to have. It just wasn't to me the pure reflection of me. So it
Mhm.
just makes me question on Netflix. So I feel as though they see Edmund and the Black men that's been on the shows in the past, especially the ones that didn't get engaged, it's who's really benefiting, who's really getting any type of grace besides Marshall. I can really only think about Marshall as the only Black man that did not get engaged that the internet loves, you know? Ramses to me in season 7 didn't do anything, and then Netflix literally zoomed in on it and trying to make it sound like he had a thong. And then we find out you find out it's the audio strap. So it's like they do stuff intentional, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why we putting that in there? You know what I mean? Like why are
Mhm.
we doing that?
Mhm.
And I just don't like that. I'm jaded. I don't want to say
I
this,
got you.
and a lot of my stuff that how I react, I'm just kind of like, oh, that's interesting because y'all didn't do that on my season, but now y'all doing that to Edmund. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that.
I understand that. And
Yeah,
I appreciate you being honest about the fact that you're just jaded. And so,
yeah,
like, you're looking at this, you have one of the most unique lenses when you're viewing the show. You're not viewing it like the rest of us. You actually went through this experience. I do want to say, I do think Edmund is very strange. Like, I've made videos about it. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, right? But he's just not for me. Like, he's not somebody that, like, a personality type that I would find attractive romantically. But I think to that point, and you brought it up, people were saying like he has autism or he's on the spectrum. I think that is so wrong. Nobody is his medical professional. Like, we cannot sit here and diagnose him because he does interesting things. Now, the way that he reacts to stuff, you can tell that there's some unhealed trauma there. Like, he probably needs a
yeah,
really good therapist, right? He does suffer from arrested development. He's very childlike. And so those are things, all of those things combined, that's why I think this is not going to work between him and KB. I think
yeah,
she was physically attracted to him. And I think on her side though, KB, when I was watching her in the pods, a lot of stuff she was saying, I was like, people quote that type of shit on social media. Like, she talks in Instagram and TikTok quotes. So I think with KB, and I know this is probably going to get me ate up a little bit, you could have plugged in any man and KB would have acted the same way. Like, she just wants to be with somebody. I think that's the case with a lot of these women this season, but it's very evident with her because it almost feels like her and Edmund shouldn't have even made it out of the pods with like how different they were. But she seems like you could have just plugged any guy in, and if he was gonna propose, she would have said yes.
that's a great point. I actually haven't heard Jazz too many people dissect KB, so I kind of want to let you. If you got anything else, I'm definitely dying to hear because I only hear people talk about Edmund, and I feel like
Mhm.
because Edmund is such like a shock for what people are seeing on TV. Like, what is this? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Girl, run! It's like you're not really looking at some of the stuff that KB's doing.
Yeah, they both should be running, actually, right? That scenario that she made up about them being in the club. What if we were in the club and a guy grabbed my arm? What would you do? And he's, I'm gonna get security. And she kept altering the scenario to
Yes.
like it was almost like she's like, you pussy, and I really don't want you to
Yeah.
be. And it's just like that's not who that guy is. And if that's the kind of guy you want, this is definitely not your dude, right?
And it's
So
not
it's
your
like,
show.
right.
You thought you was gonna find macho muscle man beat niggas up and Love Is Blind? What was you thinking? And when I saw
Yeah.
KB Instagram, I ain't gonna lie, Jazz. I'm a judge. I judge. I'm sorry. God be saying don't
Speak
judge.
on it. Speak on it. Speak on it.
I be judging. I clicked on her Instagram. I said, ain't no way she getting married. She got I don't know on Street Passer you can pull up her IG. I'll
No,
pull up people IGs. I'm
I
like,
saw it. Yeah, I
I'm like,
saw it.
oh, it's a lot of
Mhm.
ass given in the IG. That's not
That's why his mom said what she said. His mom said that she went to her Instagram and she was like, "Hell no." And then
what?
she
I didn't
met,
hear that
yeah.
part.
Yes, on that when the episode when they met Edmund's mom, his mom said she went to her Instagram and she said something like, "I was like, hell no," but like now meeting you is different. And listen, like I said, I never want to judge a woman's physical appearance as it
Yeah.
pertains to them being on TV because it's so hard. But KB, I went to KB's Instagram after I saw that episode, and I was like, as a mom, I could see why you would look at this and be like, not for my son.
Yeah, it's just two different people. I just feel like the guys that KB's used to is probably not like Edmond. And I thought the conversation that where Edmond, the word where he crashed out was very telling on both parties, where she could just willy-nilly say, yeah, I slept with guys and had one night stands, and and at the end of the day, it's her body, her choice, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to sleep with Edmond. That's the real reason why she did not want to give up any cookies. I'm pretty sure that's the real reason. Because if you in a romantic getaway, that environment, Jazz, is really meant for you to have sex. Like that is kind of the point of that romantic getaway, because they ask you every single day, have you had sex? Have you had sex? Have you had sex? So it's always on your mind. Like they give you prompts. Have you had sex? Have you had sex? So that romantic getaway is literally set up for you to have sex. They put you in a nice villa. They make romantic stuff. Like they set up so much stuff for me and AD for us to get it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Luckily, I ain't need all that. First day, let's go.
But that's a good point, Clay, because I listen, I don't blame her though for not wanting to have sex with him. Like I said, his personality type, the things that he does, I don't know that a lot of women would come out of the pods with him and go on this vacation and immediately, be the Nile River. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I
You
don't.
gotta trick yourself. You know how hey Josh, hey, he giving out them foot massages. You gotta open up them legs, let him get between, start going in. You gotta just close your eyes.
Act like it's not like this dude who is just like hiding in cabinets and shit like that and eating his boogers.
Kissing the floor. I'm like, Edmond, get
Oh
up,
my
bro.
God. Oh my God. That
I
was
would have been in the
so,
pause, like, tighten up, Edmond, please.
dude, that was so nasty to me. And that was when I was like, this motherfucker is such an attention seeker. Like he needs all the attention that like he might not have gotten as a child. Cause what are you doing? That was the grossest thing to me. And it showed me too, like that. Like everybody's like, he's on the spectrum. He's whatever. That nigga is horny. He is kissing the floor. He's like, it feel good to be kissing some. I want to kiss some. And then he was crying over not having sex with KB. He is a virgin. That's what it is. He's a virgin.
He's horny. That's a good point. I like that. He's just horny. That's it.
Yeah. But actually he might not be a virgin because he played like college football.
Yeah.
He's not Netflix is not exploiting this man. He has his mental faculties in order. He's just different. He's just weird. But I also don't like the conversation around Netflix is wrong for casting him because they shouldn't cast people like that. And I'm like, there's nothing like wrong with him.
I feel like more so for me, my whole thing was like not selecting him because he has like anything mentally wrong with him. I wasn't saying that at all. To me, I just feel as though that with the black men, it's just always something with us. You know what I'm saying? It's just always something. Like we're always like the villains. We're always like, even like when season 7 came and we saw Tyler, like honestly, Tyler, the one that had the 3 kids, from him being on the Netflix show, I'm not talking about any social media stuff, looked like a great guy. Like I was really rooting for him. I'm like, damn, he looks like a stand-up dude. He's doing everything right. He's loving Ashley. I really enjoyed that because I do want to see black women get loved on correctly. You know what I'm saying? I even hate that I was the only representation and I said no to AD. I hate that that's the representation of the relationship. But I want to see black love, Season 8, Devin was in Virginia. I wanted to see that worked out. But to me, it's just like you go through these calls. You're figuring this out. These recruiters are spending hours having conversation with you. And I know for me, like when I say about like the first conversation I had with Love Is Blind, I should have been eliminated because they asked me, can I see myself fall in love with this concept? And I said, I don't really see it, but I want to get married. Like I've always wanted to get married, but not with the way y'all want me to get married. And then but I still make it on. And people have some discourse like, Clay, well, why would you go on the show? I said, they convinced me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, this sounds like a good concept. Let me do it. But the same thing with Edmond, it's like you spending so much time with him. It's just like I just cannot believe that they're not asking him questions where he's having to articulate himself and you're like, man, he's the best candidate. Because I don't even think he's the best communicator. Like when KB's asking him basic questions, I feel like he struggles sometimes with responding. And so in my estimate, that what I'm thinking is that if he's going through all these interviews, he's having because we're having extensive conversation with Netflix and Kinetic. How does somebody not pick up that maybe he's not the best with communicating and maybe he's not the best with talking about his feelings? How do you not decipher that? So there could probably be a better candidate in Denver that to me, guy could communicate his feelings a little bit better, you know. And this is just my jaded part, just be a better representation for Black men. But you know,
I'll offer you something as a producer. And I think we had this type of conversation last time we were talking about Love Island, right?
yeah,
Producers are trying to get the most compelling stories. They're trying to get the most chatter. Like they are looking for like maximum drama or as maximized as they can get without like literally jeopardizing somebody's safety, right? So
yeah,
somebody like Edmond, if I'm a casting producer, he does not seem like he like physically harm somebody, as evidenced by him saying he would not even kill that moth or touch the man in the club, right? That's somebody that you put them on TV, people are going to talk about them. We're having a conversation about him right now. He's probably the most talked about person this season of the show. That's what they're casting for. Now, I don't
yeah,
want to say that Netflix isn't casting earnestly because they don't want people to really fall in love. I think that is secondary, right? Like I think they are happy if they get couples who are successful and they can say that they have a good success rate with this experiment, but they are a business. They are trying to get max entertainment. And like the way you do that is you put polarizing characters on TV. You put people like Nick on the screen, right? Where, you know, he has a story about his mom. You want that to come out on TV. Somebody like you, I don't know if I can actually get married, but like I'll see, I want to get married. That's an interesting story right there because if I interview you and you say, you don't want to get married like this, but you want to get married. You just don't know if the experiment will work. I want to get you on TV because I want you to be the story that it does work for, right?
hmm
This person didn't even believe that it could work at first. And now look at him, he's married. It didn't work like that for you, but I can almost see like why they still selected you to go on the show because they're like, this is going to be our story where we get to prove that the experiment really does work.
yeah. That's a
You
good
know?
perspective that I didn't think of. So I appreciate that. That's a very unique perspective right there.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think unfortunately when I'm watching TV, I watch a lot like a producer and
yeah,
I wish
yeah,
I could turn it off. But yeah, I think that was the case with Edmond for real. I don't think they did it to try to like make him be misrepresented in a terrible way, but I think they saw him and they're like, there's a story there and there's going to be interest with him.
Love is Blind found the formula. It's the same
Hmm.
formula. You got to have one crazy white couple because you got to get the TikTok going crazy, and then the Black couple got to turn it up because if the Black couple turn it up, the season always lit. It's always lit when the Black couple turn it up.
So just closing out Edmond and KB, I don't think either of them are, I don't think they're compatible with each other.
No,
I,
no, I get it. I get it. I think that my vote is for Meg and Jordan. I think they're gonna make it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. If like I said, if there was a couple that I think would say yes, it is them. Longevity, I don't think they have the longevity. But
yeah,
we'll see. I'm open to being surprised. That's the other joy of watching television and especially shows like this. I'm open to seeing through these next couple of episodes, couples kind of really come into their own and maybe my opinion will change. But yeah, as of now, I don't know that we have really successful couples. So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna
We'll
leave it
see.
at that. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
leave it at that. But Clay, tell the people where they can find you, follow you, all that stuff if you want them to.
Definitely. Well, this is Clay from Love is Blind season 6. You can follow me on IG at Clay_Grave Sandy. Same thing on TikTok at Clay_Grave Sandy. It's good talking to you, Jazz. Always fun.
Likewise,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to me and Clay's conversation about Love is Blind season 9. Listen, uh, here we just try to keep it real about how we feel about stuff on TV. So if you took offense to anything that we said, tough titty said the kitty. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.